Ms. Roxanne Myers will be sitting in the chair of Deputy Chief Elections Officer very soon. She will be taking over from Mr. Vishnu Prasad. Mr. Prasad, who served as Dceo for a number of years, did not get his contract renewed when the term of the previous Elections Commission expired, since a new commission had not been appointed. Recently, Gecom advertised a number of vacancies, and among them was that of a Deputy Chief Elections Officer. Mr. Prasad had reapplied for the job and was among the final two persons shortlisted for consideration. Ms. Myers was the other person. The three commissioners representing the PPP on the commission voted in favor of Mr. Prasad, and the three commissioners representing the government voted in favor of Ms. Myers. So the situation arose in which the chairman's vote was the decisive factor. The chairman's vote in favor of Ms. Myers was vehemently rejected by the PPP commissioners, who suggested an ethnic bias on the part of the chairman. Mr. Patterson explained to Nightly News on Wednesday why he preferred Ms. Myers for the post of Deputy Chief Elections Officer.
Plainly because Mrs. Myers was the better candidate, qualification-wise, and in character, because there's some negative issues about the character of Mr. Vishnu. And don't ask me to pronounce on details of it.
Mr. Prasad was prompted to defend himself in the press recently after his qualifications for the post was publicly questioned. One of the commissioners at Gecom had even described Mr. Prasad's past performance as poor, which apparently led the chairman to believe that Mr. Prasad was not fit or proper for the job. However, about Ms. Myers, questions have been mounting, especially from the PPP, about Ms. Myers' political affiliation, since she had reportedly made several posts on Facebook pledging her support for the People's National Congress.
If that is the way the lady chooses to exercise her franchise, I don't see. She was operating, obviously, within the confines of a good citizen. I really don't see why that should cause any confusion.
The contention of the opposition leader is that Gecom is supposed to be an independent body, and if there are persons who openly support a particular political party, that is cause enough for some doubt about the integrity of the individual. Mr. Patterson, though, does not have the same views.
She would have had her political views, and she would have had a constitutional right to express them in the manner she felt would be effective.
Then there was the question of racial imbalance in the employment practices at Gecom. You said yesterday in your missive that when Mr. Dreadnought Singh was chair, he held a tradition where he had let me use your exact phrase, he might have had a catchment for certain persons to be in his management structure, and you can continue in that tradition. What does that mean?
Oh, let me tell you what they've complained, from what I read and from what I was told, that there's a racial imbalance in favor of African Guyanese. But that list that I got shows that all the senior people, including the chairman, appeared to be Indo-Guyanese. My immediate assumption was not that there's some racial thing that caused it to be so, is that he had the best people who were Indians. So I was merely saying I'm following in that tradition, sir.
Roy and James, HGP Nightly News.